Hello Chroma developers using Unity. You'll find a Unity package on GitHub which adds the Chroma tools to Unity. Alright, I'll start assuming you've downloaded the Unity package somewhere. Let's start with a blank Unity project. Alright, and here's the default project in Unity 2018.2.6. Now you can import the Chroma package with assets, import package, custom package, or if you have it in Explorer, just double click it. Okay, and just import everything. Okay, and you'll see it imported some plugins. Now if you're on Unity 3, then you'd use this DLL, but since we're in 2018, we don't actually need it, so I'll delete it. Okay, and then there's these special folders here. So x86, if you look at the inspector, it's a 32-bit DLL, so it doesn't actually want the 64-bit checked. So hit apply, and on the other one, it's a 64-bit one, so uncheck the 32-bit. Okay, apply that, and now we're set up for Chroma. So go to Window, and you'll see Chroma Sdk. You can open the Capture window. Just dock this anywhere. Okay, and to do capturing, we will need a capture camera. In the game object menu, click camera, and there's our capture camera. Okay, it's doing all this stuff. Let's change it from skybox to a solid color, and just change the background to black. Okay, that looks better. Now if you want this to align with the scene view, I'll add a game object, 3D object quad, and make sure we're facing it. You can double click it or hit F to zoom in on it. And you'll notice as I zoom, it's incrementing quite a bit there. If we want to make that smoother, I'll just scale this up to like 100. And double click it again. There we go. Now I can get the incremental zooming there. Now if you look over here, you want to zoom it. Well, first of all, get your layout, how you want it to look. Okay, there we go. And then zoom so that it fills the render texture. Alright, and also we can change the color of the lines so that they show up better. And we can position this where it needs to be. So first I'll just reduce the width. Okay, move that over. Okay, that looks about right. And then just raise it up a little bit. Okay, and that's good. Now I can set it back to white. Okay, and then for this quad, I'll just create a material. There we go, material. Call this the quad material. And in the inspector, I'll change the shader to an unlit texture shader. And select, and I like this default particle because it has a nice gradient, and there's lots of uses for gradients later on. Okay, just drag the quad material over to the quad and double click again. Now that the layout here is positioned where it needs to be, I can move the sprite around, and there we go. Okay. So now we want to capture from the camera and start rendering to a animation. So to do that, put in the animation name. If it's not set already, drag the capture camera over to the render camera slot. Okay, and then you can also set a mask there, but don't worry about that for now. Okay, and before I can capture a frame, I need to make a new folder under Assets, called Streaming Assets. This is where it'll load the Chroma animations from. And now when I capture a frame, I can see that it's defaulted to the Chroma Link device. Switch it to a keyboard, capture another frame, and now I see it on my hardware. Now if you don't see the capture showing up on your hardware at this point, go and open Synapse if it's not running already. It needs to be running. And if you go to Chroma Apps, it'll list like a bunch of Chroma apps. Just make sure that Unity is at the top. And that allows Unity to have the Chroma focus. And Synapse is controlling which app of all your Chroma apps will get the Chroma focus. At this point we see the Chroma Capture on our hardware. You can capture a single frame at a time, or you can just start a capture and it'll just start capturing frames at the specified capture interval. If I stop that, if you know the number of frames you want to capture to start with, you can enter that. So if I can put 100 and start, I can create the animation depending on whatever the design is, and it will automatically stop when it hits the frame count. There you go. Capturing stop when it hit the frame cap. Now you can also see the animation if you click Edit. Unity will open up the Animation Editor dialog, and you can hand paint the grid if you want to do it that way. I tend to prefer using the Capture tool to generate these. Most of the time I'll capture 3 different ways. I'll use a quad or a plane like this. A lot of times I'll use a game object, an empty game object, and add on a particle system. There we go. You place that in the capture camera and you'll see that on your keyboard. There we go. Okay, and the third thing I use a lot is a trail render. So if I go into game object, create an empty, and I'll just name it trail render, add component, trail render. There we go. And now when we move this guy, it'll do that. Now I tend to use, let's put on the quad texture here. There we go. And now we have a nice line with a gradient on it. For time, use like a second. There we go. And this is super useful to do all kinds of stuff. And one other, I guess a fourth thing I do a lot is if I duplicate this a couple times. And let's clean this up. Okay, I need a blank game object. And I'll just stick that at the origin. Actually put all these at the origin. Okay, cool. And drop this into this game object. I can put this a little left. Keep the middle one at the same spot. Put this on the right. Okay, double click it. There we go. So this is useful for sprites or trail renders. And sometimes you might want to have like claws or, there we go. Sometimes you want to have claws or whatever. It's perfect for that. You can also adjust the width of these lines, or just adjust the spacing and zoom in a little bit. And it's got the nice gradient, which is useful for other things. Anyway, so you can see the Chroma SDK is working here in Unity and the latest release version. And thanks for watching.